Hello.
Hey, Magnamalo.
And I'm just checking, has anybody lost a Rathalos?
Lost a Rathalos? I mean, maybe. Can I see it?
Sure.
Oh, that Rathalos! No, it's not mine.
Oh, well, sorry to waste your time then.
No problem, goodbye. What a nice guy. Hello, my fellow hunters. Today, we talk hell. But not just hell. We talk fire. But not just fire. But hellfire. Magnamalo's Hellfire. The Hellfire of Magnamalo. Oh. In any case, I think this is a fascinating topic from a fascinating monster. A monster that is said to be the physical manifestation of the grudges of fallen warriors. Made flesh and sent to rend hunters limb from limb. That's a pretty cool sort of vengeful type, weird thing creature. And I can't wait to actually hunt it. But it is, of course, very unique. Its hide, which is as tough as literal armor, has a very, well, not so secret. This purple gas that exudes from all he is. It is known as Hellfire, and it is produced when he eats other monsters. So, technically, it's kind of like a waste product, and it's gas, and it's explosive. So, let's not read into it in the obvious route. But what we know is that it makes his already ferocious attacks even more destructive. But the question I have for you today, what is Hellfire?
I am the god of Hellfire!
So firstly, we know that it is, as I said, called Hellfire, so we can make some basic assumptions from that. You know, it burns, it hurts, it shares properties with flames, but it's also, and I think this is the crux, a blight. Or perhaps a status, but certainly a negative ailment that is applied to the hunter, whether it's more akin to perhaps fire blight or something like a normal status, like soiled, when a Congalala makes it so you can't use items, isn't completely sure, but you can see on the hunter there is wisps of the purple emanating from him after being hit with a Hellfire attack. So clearly this is going to leave some sort of mark. But what kind of mark? Firstly, for, simplicity's sake, let's call it Hellfire Blight. Let's just put those two together, that kind of makes sense. So this Hellfire naturally emanates from him. Clearly something of a byproduct or reaction from him processing his food, and reaction is definitely key here, but it does appear to have blast powdery properties. It does the Teostery sparkle in the air. It has, yes, the swooshy flames as well, but there definitely is a powder element to it. It does seem to pop once it has reacted enough. It turns to a deeper purple and fades to a red, and then, well, and it even gets a tinge of pure normal, air quotes, orange fire as it does so. So maybe this on a hunter just does like super burn. Maybe the deadly poison equivalent of fire. Really fast ticking damage that really tanks your health. But that'd be a little bit boring, as obviously that is just, again, deadly poison under another name, as is Fire Blight just poison under another name. So I feel like the flagship of Rise should get something at least a little bit more interesting. You could also say that perhaps, since it does seem to have blast properties, it could also work like the blast status. It could be a combination. It's both fire that slowly burns you down, and then a blast that pops if you take that burn damage for too long and don't get rid of it, don't roll it away, don't use the item that will cancel it. So maybe it's a combination of fire and blast, but again, that seems a little bit... and what I would kinda like is, imagine if it's fire, so you slowly take damage, but if you roll, then the blast happens and you take a big pop of damage. So you have to choose, make an interesting in-the-moment gameplay choice. Burn slowly for a while, or explode violently right now. And how often could you get asked if you want to burn slowly for a while, or explode violently right now. That's just Magnamalo things.
You're welcome. Also, if it's a waste product, it's kind of weird that it's coming out of my mouth, right? I mean, what is that?
So let's take this a little bit further then. Meet a little substance called nitrogen triodide. This is an incredibly reactive explosive material, and just on contact will, well, violently react, explode, and exude a purpley pink gas. No, I'm not saying this is what he's covered in, but I think it might be a pretty good comparable real-world material to perhaps his scales. Maybe like how Gormagala shreds his scales, scatters them in the air, and that's the frenzy. Magnamalo's scales, while on his body, are fairly harmless. They react just a little bit, and that's what, you know, contributes to the gas pouring off him. Just little bits of chemically goodness going on. But once separated from his body during his attacks, when he flings it at you, it starts to react and it goes pop and it produces the gas even more voluminously. Perhaps it's a case of like Brachydios, where the slime, while against his shell, is relatively harmless. The shell keeps it from being too unstable, keeps it from exploding, but as soon as it leaves that safety shell, well, it starts to do its detonation cycle. So we could be having something like that with Magnamalo. His armor could be as tough as hide. His hide could be as tough as armor, because it is immune to his own explosions. It keeps him safe from his own shockwaves. See the Rathalos turf war? He is rocketing him down into the ground. Number one, you have to have one hell of a resistant body to not hurt yourself with the shockwaves of that attack. But two, what happens the second he contacts the ground? As soon as that impact is made, that really does imply that it is a reactive explosive that is triggered by force, like nitrogen triodide. So that is fascinating to me. And this would contribute to the idea that it burns while it's on you, but if you roll, ergo apply sudden force, that triggers the blast and it goes pop. But I still think blast plus fire is maybe a little bit boring, so this flagship needs a bit more pizzazz. And what better way than to tie him into the wirebugs? Maybe if he is affecting you with this Hellfire, you either can't use wirebugs, like it locks their cooldown, or makes them leave you, gets rid of any extra ones, maybe they can't stand the smoke, maybe it chokes them up, maybe they can't operate in it, something that kind of messes with wirebugs, maybe makes them go in a random direction. But if we keep this blasty theme, maybe make it so that if you use a wirebug attack while affected with his debuff or Blight, that is the contact explosion, that is the force that triggers the pop. So as soon as you make that explosive leap, well, it quite literally becomes an explosive leap. Otherwise, you just burn a little bit. And if we try and tie it into the Rampage, I don't think Magnamalo is essentially the cause of it. The monsters in the Rampage aren't shrouded in purple, they don't look like they're possessed by him or afflicted by him. I think Rampage is more than likely attracting Magnamalo. Magnamalo a symptom of it, and the true cause will be whatever the end boss of the game happens to be. So that's my little theory talk on Magnamalo and his new, probably Blight status element Hellfiriness. I think it makes a lot of sense, but then again, I might be completely off. In any case, it's very exciting, and I cannot wait to see it in game. But now, like you enjoyed this, subscribe for more. Please consider supporting the channel on Patreon down below. It really does keep us going. It is the lifeblood, and every little is appreciated deeply. A good Bye.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kinda relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.